What's up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new Watching Nerdy. I am James. I am joined by...
Good day, this is Kevin.
I'm Merle.
Zach.
I'm Logan.
That's right. We are, of course, the crew from Talking Nerdy. Most of the crew from Talking Nerdy. And
We're all pretty interchangeable.
Yeah. So,
It's like the Justice League.
as you probably know from now, by now, that the Watching Nerdy is a show where we come in, we sit down, we watch something, whether it be a movie or in this case, anime, and we just talk it out. Recap today. We're doing a recap now of My Hero Academia.
With the goal of getting caught up so
Yes.
we can go episode by
Yes.
episode as they come out.
What we've done before is, obviously we've done season 1, but we did it in episodes. We did 4 episodes. Well, five was the last one, but
I think just by coincidence ended up being like arcs.
I think it was.
Yeah.
But what we are going to do for the next couple video, we are going to do an entire season in this video, but we'll do it by arcs. So season 2 did it have 4 arcs or did it have 3? 3
It
arcs.
had,
Yeah.
The games.
The sports festival started it.
The
Stain.
internship /
Internship.
Stain, which is kind of the same one.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would
well,
put
internship,
Stain.
And then the
Stain,
finals.
Stain, and then the finals.
Final. So
So Stain was the end of season 2.
No,
the
well,
finals
it's-
were
The internship is kind of like,
It has like 3.5 arcs.
because the internship, it starts with the internship, then it goes to the battle with Stain, and then it goes back to the internship, polishes off with Bakugo and Sue.
yeah.
So we'll
So
call
3.
it 3. We'll call it 3. So what we're going to do in this one is run the entire season 2, but we'll just focus on each arc and see. Hopefully it won't take several hours for us to do this.
Oh, God.
First off, let's do a little housekeeping. Head over to Facebook, like us there at Talking Nerdy 815. You can obviously you're on the YouTube, so just hit that subscribe button. Check out our other videos, our other My Hero videos that we've done for season 1. And what else? If you got any questions, you got concerns, suggestions, anything like that, you can email us at talkingnerd815@gmail.com, or leave us a comment on one of these videos, or leave us a comment over on Facebook, however you feel like doing it. So, let's jump in. You have the running order, so
The running order.
hit us with the first. Let's talk about the first arc, which we already established was the sports festival.
Mhm.
It's a long arc too, I think, right? It's
Yeah.
It's like 12 episodes, half
yeah.
the season.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the first episode of this season just a recap episode?
Yeah,
That
but
was-
does that...
if you want to
That's
count,
a
it's
spe- that's-
13.5.
Yeah, the 13.5. It's
Yeah.
a special.
Yeah. So
if you want to
But
count.
that's how Crunchyroll played it, and boy was I disappointed.
You know, I read the description. It's like, oh, they're just recapping. Oh, skip.
yeah, clip shows.
I think I've just
Yeah.
watched everything.
I did. Yeah. So let's run it. So season 2, episode
Episode 1.
1.
That's the idea, Chaco. It's basically them, as the students and teachers recover from the attack of the USJ.
We're reading this off of Internet Movie Database,
Yeah.
by the way, if this sounds like
Thank
word
you,
for word
IMDb.
verbatim.
Izuku?
Izuku.
Deku.
I
Izuku.
can't say it.
Deku.
Deku. I can't say it right now. I don't know why.
Young
Deku
Midoriya.
learns why Ochako wants to be a hero.
Which
That
is
money.
Money!
For her family.
For
Yeah.
our family.
Oh, sure.
That's
Her-
how
so-
it
And
starts.
herself.
But okay, so
Because that's
so
how it
useless.
starts. And then she gets
No,
her first millions, and then
her family owns like a construction company. or
Right.
something
So they're
like
not
that,
hurting.
right? But they're not doing well. She says like they haven't had much
you would
business
think
lately.
that
We've only
with
got
all
2 solid gold toilet seats.
with
The embarrassment.
amount of collateral
I like
damage
this,
from
though,
these
because
hero fights.
She lives very frugal. She's very frugal. It seems. Like I think when they go to the dorms later on,
It's very
it's very
minimalistic.
plain, very and then
It's
I don't
basic.
know if it's in the show or not, the manga maybe, but it even like there are little scenes where it talks about like she'll be thinking like, well, I kind of want this, but this is cheaper, so I'm gonna go with this. You know,
I don't remember that.
This must have been in the manga. Then.
Anytime we go inside her head in the anime, it's she's thinking about the D, and the D stands for Deku.
For now.
So anyway, so that's what else went on in that episode? I can't remember.
This is when we're introduced
That's all the
to
description
sports
has,
festival.
but it's basically they're back at school. They're recovering from USJ.
Is this the one where 1B sort of like starts scoping them out, like
Oh
watching
yeah,
them through
all
the door?
like the general studies class, and everybody just starts coming at him.
Just flooding the door.
And then Bakugo, of course, smarts off to the general studies class.
Yeah, but he stayed quiet at a very key moment, which I didn't pick up on it immediately because they don't explain that kid Shinsho, what's his
Yeah,
name? Something off. You don't really hear about him much after he's gone. But
Really? No. He just
why
kinda
did he not
disappeared.
answer him? Was he aware? Like, is this more insight into Bakugo's professionalism? Because he is actually a good hero. Like, do you think he might have known at that point not to answer him?
his quirk involves.
Maybe. I
Because
never
at
thought
what
about
other
that.
point?
But
What
nobody
other
else
point
knew
is he
about
not popping off?
I think it might have been foreshadowing, but I don't think he knew about it.
Because nobody else knew about it, I believe.
I don't know. That's a good question. So let's just I'll tell you what, Logan.
Yes.
Find the amount of episodes that do cover this arc, the sports festival arc, because we just want to kind of. I don't want to go episode by episode. That'll take
Right.
forever. We want to do it as an arc. So let's just figure out how many was in there, and
Episode 12, Todoroki versus Bakugo. Is the last
great
episode.
spoiler alert. So sports festival. What this is a chance for.
It's the Olympics.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's the Olympics. It's a chance for the heroes to
Show what they
shine.
got.
to show to
And actually use their quirk.
Yes,
in,
and
in the
must get
com-
recruited.
yeah
competition.
to see people pro heroes come out to watch this and think about who they maybe want to recruit later on. You know,
Got your support classes.
and that's the thing. All the classes get in on this. So general studies, support,
Business,
hero,
of course.
and does business
Yeah.
do any? Do they
Well,
do
business
anything?
They don't
doesn't actually-
compete.
They
but
don't
they're
compete,
there.
but they're there.
They're in their own little world.
They're
Like
in
you'll
for
see
the
them
marketing
muttering
and
amongst
stuff.
themselves. Like,
Sell, buy.
we get 10% on these Bakugo merchandise. Like they're doing the calculations to each other, and one
It's like,
dude's got like a 4-foot bouffant,
Yeah.
but everyone
After-
else is pretty, respectable, short Japanese guy in a business suit. Pretty unremarkable, which makes them remarkable in this world.
Yes.
Buy. Sell, buy.
Which is about the
Market
last we'll
shares.
discuss them because they are nothing.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
So let's go. So tell us. Hit me with some titles for the episodes, and we can pretty much figure out like.
Well, I remember early on, I think before the actual game starts, some of the classmates expressed their concern. Like, isn't this just kind of like a bullseye on the school? Like, we were just attacked.
Do we really?
Oh yeah, it was
build
quite.
walls
It's
to
a little
wall?
soon. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little soon from this.
And they gave us they gave a line about, it's like a show of strength. It kind of reminds me of when like Bush was talking about back in the early 2000s, like after a big terror attack, he would say, go out and shop. Show them we're not afraid.
scared,
Yeah. Buy a brand new TV, that'll win the war. Like that's the kind of mentality. It's like
Merchandising.
a return to normality.
Hit us with those titles.
Episode 2, Roaring Sports Festival. Episode 3, In Their Own Quirky Ways. Episode 4, Strategy.
Okay, yeah, I can't tell.
Okay, well I know they started out with a race.
Yeah.
The festival takes place like in 3 different spots, right?
Yeah, there's the race,
There's
the cavalry
the
charge
cavalry,
or whatever.
and then the final battle.
Okay,
and then the
yes,
tournament.
yes. All right, so let's do the races. So,
But where'd they,
this was just a
A full-on race.
everybody,
Yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
for
It
themselves.
starts off in Todoroki just like freezes everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
The first
robots.
The
obstacle
problem
getting
is the
through
gate.
stadium because
The-
it's like
Yeah.
hidden.
it's a
Yeah.
major traffic block. That's
Yeah,
the first obstacle.
and so that's only the smart ones are able to actually.
Well, it's more that they've had their life on the line, so they have that instinct to react.
Right.
As opposed to Class 1B, which is just as talented, but they lack experience, so they look around confused for a moment.
right.
So they're not as hardened. At least that's what Eraserhead seems to think.
Yeah.
Because he's doing commentary.
Him and Present Mike, and should we know that Razorhead is literally his arms are broken, his
Yeah.
eyes are broken. He's just like he's like a mummy.
Still wrecked from that fight with Nomu.
You can even
really
hear it, like
messed
you even
up.
do it like his voice is all muffled.
So several of them, I do remember, like several of them, obviously come out on top, like right at the beginning. Like this was a chance for Cero to kind of shine.
Oh,
You
tape
know,
elbows,
tape
yeah.
tape Spider Man, dude. You know,
Spider-Man.
Of course,
you know,
Shoto.
Todoroki,
Yeah.
he shoots out. He's good. Bakugo is
His
able to
explosion.
jump out there. Yeah. Deku, I think uses how does he get
He
through?
doesn't
it?
use
a shield
No,
or
he,
something?
No, this
for,
is
for
later
the
on
Rapid
in the
Jam. He
race.
just goes through it.
He's just able to
He gets
get
it through
through.
like he gets it through like everybody else.
But as you progress through this little obstacle course,
He picks
uh,
up a piece of.
Yeah.
different little
A
things.
dead robot. I think he does get the shield from
Oh,
this robot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just a piece
It's,
of.
it's
a
just an
robot's
arm. It's not a
chest.
shield.
Yeah,
It's just
there's different little
yeah.
there's different little sections to kind of try to trip you up. You know, like there was
Yeah.
one where it's just like these little
The steps, like
Yeah,
plateau,
yeah,
thin
yeah.
plateaus, like needles, kind
Right,
of, but
yeah.
with tight ropes run across.
yes.
Of course, Asui just does her damn thing. But this is where we really see, I think, what's her name? Hatsume?
May
Oh yeah, the
Hatsume.
support. Yeah, the support chick.
Yeah, she just, like, blasts off.
Mhm.
My babies.
All her gadgets.
And so the final part of this race
It's a
is a
minefield.
minefield, and this is where Deku uses his smarts and uses this piece of robot,
Yeah.
To gather up
digs up a
mines.
bunch of mines, piles them up in a pile,
And it
and
just blasts them.
uses
and it
this as a-
uses it
Yeah.
as propellant
Surf
boat
some,
shield
over
surfboard
yeah.
thing.
To catch up with
Bakugo and Todoroki,
Yeah,
who
who
are
are
in the
using
lead.
their quirks. Of course, Todoroki's skating, and Bakugo's doing his little
Explosion.
explosion jetpack
behind
thing where
Yeah.
he has his arms behind him to stay above the mines.
And then at the winner of this race turns out to be Deku.
Mm-hmm.
He like uses them as like he lands on their heads or on their backs and smacks more mines on the
Yeah,
ground and
more
just
mines.
goes fucking flying.
Yeah,
And which you think, oh sweet, Deku won, right? Yeah.
without using his quirk.
Without using his quirk. You find out the next
Event.
event is cavalry,
A cavalry battle.
cavalry,
Yeah,
right?
cavalry.
It's like
cavalry
chicken but with
battle.
more people.
So you got a 4-person team.
Well, it could be however much you want, but
Oh, I thought it was.
yeah, that's because like Mineta, Sue, and Arm Dude are a team. That's only 3 people.
Oh, that's right. But you have to have the leader
Rides
sits on the other
So you
like
could do
shoulders or
2
whatever.
people,
Yeah.
But that dude is riding on 2 shoulders.
Right.
And you have to snatch the bandana off of a person, and what they're worth is their placing in the race that
Right.
just took place. So
And so like it starts out at like increments of like 5 or something.
Yeah.
But for
Until
some
you
reason,
get to the
for some
top.
reason, Deku was given like what was it, a
10
million?
million.
Yeah, it was-
Ten
it's like
10
10 million
points.
points.
it was pretty much I win.
Yeah, and
If you
so
get it.
I win, fuck you.
My entire team wins.
Which
Yeah.
makes him an obvious target.
Yeah.
Like in the early going, people are pretty much just competing to see who will get it off of them. But as desperation mounts, they start to turn on each other, and
right.
Nobody wanted to be on Deku's team.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So he starts trying to
except for Uraraka,
Oh,
who's
my God.
immediately down to clown.
Dude.
She's trying to ride that
They
Oh
wave.
my god.
they tell him, all right, you got like 15 minutes, pick your teams. Deku starts going around trying to get team. Nobody wants to join. Uraraka tells him she'll join with him, and then he gets.
They try to talk to
Hey.
Ida
They do. They go to Ida, and they're
because
like,
he's trying to get the boys together. You know, like that's
Yeah.
his inner circle.
yeah, because they've
They're a clique. They're
Uraraka, Deku, and Ida have become like a little team. You know,
And Ida's like, you know, you're my friend, but I'm your competition. Like
Yeah.
I'm here to
I
beat
need
you.
To learn how to
Yeah.
pass
yeah,
you.
and so he turns him down, and so he decides to use. Who's the third one that he picks before?
Which at this point has or does this come later in the arc where Todoroki tells him like, you're my rival. Like I'm focusing
Oh.
on you.
I think
after the
that's after.
Cavalry.
That's
the
after
Cavalry
this.
It's after
battle.
the okay.
That's when they find out they have to face each other,
Mhm.
or before that, obviously.
Which Bakugo does not take kindly to.
Like
Because
you're me?
No,
Me.
nobody stands between Deku and Bakugo.
Here we go.
My man? What? You didn't.
Nobody snipes my man.
But you two seem irritated that we pointed out that Uraraka was just trying to ride the wave, just trying to. But she even later on, when she's like being introspective and reflecting on her actions, she thinks that that's why she went to Deku, was to sort of, ride the strength that she thinks he has that she doesn't. Like she's very insecure at that point. She doesn't really nut up until later in the
Yeah.
tourney.
That after Ida turns
Isn't
him
it
down,
during like the internships or whatever?
Well, that's when she learns some more tactical stuff. But she does. It's before when she finds out who her first round opponent is.
Oh yeah, Bakugo.
Bakugo, yeah, that's crazy. Who was his third? Who's Deku's third pick?
It was Hatsume.
Hatsume,
he-
right?
yeah,
So
no,
he goes with.
No,
May
it
picks
was-
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
May
May
picks
go-
him.
yeah.
It's funny because after Uraraka joins up, she just hovers like right behind him and is like, "Hey, you want to join my team?"
Hey,
Okay.
man with most points, you want to join my team?
And so
You do see Hatsume past this arc, and I'm glad because she's kind of a fun character.
Oh yeah.
And,
so he picks his third one or his fourth one, but we don't
No,
like
who
they
is
make
at
it
first.
seem like
Right.
you don't know who it is. Well, then when you finally see them in their cavalry position, they've got Deku on top. He picks Tokoyami as his
My boy.
fourth member, of
and
the
he's
team.
taking point because his
He's
shadow
got
can-
dark shadow. Yeah, he
works
can-
defensively and offensively.
He works point, and then on the wings are Hatsume and Uraraka, and Deku's on top.
And so,
As it should
and this
be.
is all the teams are.
Merle's like, at least in all my fan art.
And this is another free for all thing. Everybody's in the same, arena trying to go at it. But obviously, as soon as the thing starts, everybody decides to go for Deku. They figure we'll get that 10 million points or whatever, and we'll be
And then
set.
all the while, and I noticed this as the teams were going out, we start to kind of get the big troll from Class 1B that's always egging them on and gets. We kind of get a sense of his quirk because there were two invisible people in the lineup, and one had a dialogue bubble over his head. So we start to get a hint of something's not right here.
Right.
Hagakure is the only invisible trick we've seen, but there's two people invisible here.
Never noticed that.
Yeah. I barely remember that guy. I don't like that character. The one from 1B who's just constantly shouting at them.
Yeah.
Y'all suck! How does it feel to be
So
in
what's
the
his quirk
trenches with
again?
the rest of
Can
us?
he? What does
I
he
don't
do?
remember.
Was he still?
His-
Copy
his is
anybody-
copy.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
copy
But he has
cat.
to make contact with
Yeah,
him
he
first?
Yeah, he has to
make
touch him.
contact
He has
with
to
them.
And he
touch
can
him.
only do one at a time.
Yeah, and it's
That's
only
pretty
for like
badass quirk,
15 minutes or so at the most.
It's very all for one, isn't it?
Almost. Only all for one steals.
Yeah, and keeps it,
quirks,
yeah.
It can give them out
yeah.
or stockpile them. He can only.
That's a
copy.
great quirk.
It's my power not needed now.
So they everybody obviously goes for Deku, but then Deku's smart as hell though. He's able to keep
He's keeping to the outlines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and
they're winning.
and letting everybody just go at it.
And with
on the
Uraraka's
defense.
Zero G and Hatsume's jetpack boots or whatever it was, like they are keeping away
yeah.
Mhm.
and blocking ranged attacks with the Dark Shadow.
That's smart, dude. That was
And
smart.
all the while this is going on, 1B is stealing all of 1A's points.
Which is when it starts to dawn on 1A, we don't know what these people's quirks are. They've been watching us in the news. They've
Yeah.
been studying us. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Exactly, yeah.
Because all of a sudden, almost with the exception of Bakugo's team and Deku's team, all of 1A, all of the teams with 1A members in them
0 points.
all have 0 points.
Yeah. And so who does it end up coming down to near the end? It's like
It's
Momo.
Bakugo, Todoroki,
Momo
Yeah.
and
Team Todoroki, Team Deku, Team 1B Troll Guy, I think there was a
Bakugo. Okay, well, Todoroki kind of splits the battlefield with his ice barrier,
Yeah.
and Bakugo's sort of on the other side of things. But he does near the end, like as the seconds are tipping down, his team blasts over the edge with his explosions. Or no, he blasts off of them
Yeah, he.
and is like recoiled by
Sero,
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, warn us or something, man, before you start doing this
And
shit.
he's like,
He ends up
"Shut
doing it
up!"
again later, I think,
Yeah.
too.
And is this isn't the first time, I don't think, not that they've talked, but it's when he really starts working with what's his name?
Kirishima?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they're
their little bromance.
yeah, this is when they start building their bromance,
Yeah.
yeah. So it ends up coming down to
It's those 4 teams.
and I believe, let's see, who steals the 10?
I think Bakugo does.
Is
The
it
10 million, the
Bakugo
10
or is
million
it
points or
Todoroki?
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 Because
yeah.
Ida does Recipro Burst and just snags it real quick.
Yeah.
Because they're
And
thinking,
that
oh, we
leaves
won.
them
We did it.
with
There's not much
nothing.
time left.
They do try to steal one off of him because he's turned it inside
Yeah, he
out.
turns them inside out.
And the one they got wasn't worth very much, but
It was
I
Little
don't
do
think,
we
did
know.
he have it the one that didn't cost too
Well,
much on
Deku
top?
thought that the latest one
Would
would
be
be
on
the
top,
that
yeah.
he has on him would be the one with the most value. So that's the one they grab. Turns out it was not.
yeah.
But it also turns out that Tokoyami, I believe, had
Yeah,
snatched up.
Dark-
yeah.
And you kinda
his
see
Dark
it
Shadow.
when it ends, because you see Dark Shadow kind of retreat if you pay attention when the thing ends.
I mean,
Wow.
that's one of the. Well, no, I kind of like the that aspect of it. If you don't know what's about to happen, you do kind of tune out some of like the
Yeah.
static animation.
Yeah.
But once you know what it is, like you do see more of things foreshadowed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice that dude that had stolen Hagakuri's quirk until a rewatch. That there was that second invisible person.
Yeah. Yeah. I still don't think. I think I've watched it. How many
Watch it
times?
next
4
time.
I've
times.
watched
and
it. I've watched
Actually
it. I've watched it
watch
8
for it.
times.
You'll see.
I thought
You'll
that
Wait a
was
see
minute.
the lineup.
Does that mean that dude was sitting on somebody's shoulders naked?
Yes. No,
That-
no. He had his.
No, he
Oh, you
keeps
could
his
just see-
suit on.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because that is party foul.
He's all-
It's like,
Balls on
it's
the
like
net.
I didn't know this
Yeah.
was this kind of festival.
I can
Yeah.
feel the
Oh,
warmth.
yeah. No, they have their like school tracks.
Run
Yeah.
faster. I like the breeze.
Oh God.
It
Flapping in
feels
the breeze.
good.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. You gotta get those points.
Balls on your neck.
So it ends up being the next event is a one-on-one fight
Mhm.
between the
The
winners
regular
of.
tournament art.
King of the
Yeah.
Ring, yeah.
This is-
Do you remember the?
I expect
First
a
fight
lot
was,
of this when
Deku versus,
once Justice comes out.
Oh yeah.
First fight was Deku versus Todoroki, wasn't it?
First fight was him
No, it
versus
was-
mind control dude.
Yeah, Deku
Yeah.
versus.
Yeah, 'cause
Shinso?
Tail Dude,
Shinso,
Tail
something
Dude
like
backed
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That dude
Ojiro
was
backed out,
forced
and then
to back out because of
Was he
Shiro.
forced? I thought he
No,
he
no,
was
it
forced
was-
to participate in the cavalry. I thought he backed out
no,
of
he
his
backed
own
Yeah,
out because he
backed out.
realized
Yeah.
his quirk, and he was like, "I'm not dealing with
because
that."
he's
shit.
an honorable,
Yeah.
like
And
samurai or
then
whatever.
then some random stubby fat dude also backed out.
From
Yeah,
1B,
the 1B
yeah.
dude backs out.
One of them was his quirk.
So it ends up being Deku
Cheesecake.
versus
I love
Brainwash, and Uraka versus Bakugo.
As careful
Momo
as,
versus Tokoyami.
yeah.
I think it's Ida versus
Kirishima versus
Tetsu.
Tetsu. Yeah,
That
that's a
was-
great one.
The steel guy. I don't know his name like that.
No,
Tetsu-
Ida
Tetsu,
fought
Tetsu.
May.
Yeah, Ida did
Ida
fight.
fights May. Yeah, oh, and that one's great.
It was just one big joke.
No,
And,
it was one big
her-
commercial.
Go ahead.
Ashido and was Ayami? Naval Laser?
Oh, Aoyama.
Oh
Aoyama.
yeah, acid
Oh,
chick.
yeah.
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 That's the first
Oh,
time.
she
Oh,
got
I
acid.
because
felt-
that acid got in that cape.
Yeah.
He's
like,
like,
he
"Oh,
was
what?"
built, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, she burned like she burns his
It burns his navel laser.
utility belt. Yeah.
So sad.
But so the fights we see, because we don't really, I mean, they don't focus on
Yeah,
every.
you'll see them like
They show clips.
between
They,
scenes.
Yeah.
yeah,
of
they
it,
think
but-
they show everyone who wins, They show a victory, but like the fights aren't that long.
Well,
But I
let's
think
foc-
Shinso is the first fight.
Yeah,
Shinso
we'll
Deku.
focus on Deku
Which,
versus.
as careful as y'all been about spoilers when we were watching season 1, because this is my first run through it. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching it this entire time, so I've only seen each episode once. But you mentioned this kid's quirk, and my immediate response was somebody needs to put a bullet in his head, and I stand by that.
That's pretty harsh, right? That
I mean, that's like
This is pretty damn
could
hard.
end world peace. Like, that is not a power. Like, if you threw atomic bombs, you would not be as dangerous as this asshole.
It's true.
But once, but everybody can know his quirk now, though.
Well,
You know, like you could just put that shit on the news and be like, "This individual is."
don't talk around.
Don't
this
talk
guy.
to him, you know.
Damn, he's so fucked up.
And then he would
But it is a crazy.
No more dates
it's,
for him.
It's a bad quirk. Oh, dude.
That yeah.
that
They didn't spell it out, but like when we look inside his head at various points, and he's like flashing back to middle school, and they're like kids are sort of joking with him. They're like, haha, that's a real villainous quirk you got there. You're the devil. I kind of agree.
like, I'm not gonna
But-
talk to you anymore. Bye.
One of the few anime BBWs I've ever seen was like, I hope you don't use that on me. And I'm like, holy shit, she's right. Like, this dude is a fucking threat to society.
yeah.
I honestly didn't
He-
think of it like that until you said it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Here's a little spoiler.
Remember, they're like 15.
Um,
So he's not exactly thinking with his big head.
yeah.
he gets, from what I've read, he gets some story coming up in the manga, like where they're at in Japan, you know. So maybe they'll shed some light on whether he might become a
He should.
villain or something, you know.
Pat, that
I mean-
far I would.
After the fight, he makes it very clear that he doesn't want to be a villain.
But
Yeah.
again, he's 15.
There's he might get like pushed or influenced, but as of right now,
What did you want to be when you were 15?
Astronaut.
I don't know, and I still don't know now.
So
'Cause that
with the
was
flow.
4 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that fight, though. It wasn't really a fight. It was so
That was a
Mental
battle of
test.
wits.
Ojiro tries to warn Deku,
Yeah.
Don't talk to him. Don't answer his questions.
but does he eggs Deku on,
Yeah,
right?
he's
Yeah.
like
To get him to
it's like that monkey was real stupid for dropping out and losing this chance.
Yeah, and so Deku speaks, and he gets him, and he tells him like, "All right,
Just
turn
walk
around
out.
and walk off." You know, because the thing, ring out is the
Yeah.
it's like ring
Ring
out,
out.
or like
Can't answer the count.
Um,
So ring out, knock out, or tap out.
tap out. Yeah. And so he tells him just leave, kick rocks, you know. And so Deku turns around and he starts
start
to
kicking rocks.
go ahead. It sounded like you look like
Okay.
you had something you want to.
So yeah, Deku gets like, he's
Right
stepping
there.
out and he sees, along
Through
with
the
Ghost
doorway,
of one
like
of
a
the walls
doorway.
past.
yeah, not just and All
We
Might's
don't-
there with them.
Do you know that at this point?
We
Kinda
don't
look like
know that.
I
but
think-
looking.
I think All Might mentions it like relatively soon afterwards.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
He's like, and you said I was there with them, and he kind of breathes a sigh of relief, which whatever.
I
But
was a ghost.
it kind of is. But and so he thinks they help him, but it's immediately after the and so he does like a Detroit smash with his finger, and the pain snaps him out of mind control,
Right.
Which is the way you break
Yeah,
mind
because
control.
it's explained if you're hit or bumped or like
It's kind of like
If you get some
that
blunt force.
sensation you get when you're asleep.
It's almost like
You-
Genjutsu.
Oh,
What they use in
fucking
Inception,
hate that shit, dude.
when
Have you had that?
just jerk.
What?
When you like feel like you're sleeping and you feel
oh
like you're
yeah,
falling?
yeah.
That
And
is
you
so
land.
pushes you
That
in
is
the face.
the worst, dude.
No, that doesn't happen to me.
that
Yeah,
happens
it
to
happened to me
that
a
happens
few
to me
times.
almost weekly.
Merle's right. They use that the drop or whatever they call it in
Yeah.
Inception to wake you up from your from your
Inception.
dream or whatever.
But
Yes,
yeah,
you've
once he
seen
snaps
Inception.
out of it, he just turns around, and I don't even remember. Does he hit him or does he just
Yeah,
like
they
pick-
scratch. He goes and
Nah, Deku runs up to him and just starts pushing him.
yeah, he pushes him out of
because
the
it
out of
was
the ring.
established by Eraserhead that Deku's physical
He-
performance, even without his quirk, could beat this guy.
He's sort of
Yeah.
like Asta in that
Yeah.
regard. That
'Cause he's
like
buff as
Yeah.
fuck.
he made up
because
for
he
his
is
lack
built,
of power.
He's built himself up
Yeah.
at this point, so he is probably pretty strong for
So anyway, dude tries again, but Deku, I guess, caught on, and he
Mhm.
catches on that he's caught on. So then he tries to fight back a little bit. Dude throws him, judo slams him.
We
to
saw,
Yeah, they
we saw him
scrapped for
the
a
same
second.
one he did to
Bakugo.
Bakugo back
Mhm.
in season 1.
Yeah, they get a little scrap, but so Deku wins that one. Let's kind of jump. So we Ida. We'll talk about Ida and May's fight for a second. Like
It was a big commercial.
she didn't even want
Yeah,
to fight or anything. She just
Wanted to show
she
off
convinced Ida to use some of her equipment, right?
And
Because
Midnight
it would
tried
be
to put
fair,
the
you know.
kibosh
a sort of
on
a
it.
to keep him gyroscopically stable when he made like hairpin turns, you know.
And so he's like, "Sure, I guess, if you're willing to
Yeah.
let me use it, and if you're cool with me using your stuff during this fight, sure, I'll use it or
So
whatever."
he puts it on.
So he puts everything on, and she's using this fight as a way to show the support heroes up there what she can do.
Which is really not all that different than what the 1A and 1B
yeah,
were
no,
doing. Yeah,
no.
it's legit.
And as
um,
soon as she's shown off everything,
she
she
leaves.
just walks,
She
yeah.
leaves. That's all she wanted to do.
And
She didn't want to
Ida
win
is
or
like,
anything.
what the hell? You used me.
He's like, you did not order the fight.
It's also that's the point where we learn her quirk because
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like
she does have a
kind of like Deku with his mix of physical strength and studying. We've mostly seen from her engineering skills.
right.
She does have a quirk, and she has like
Zoom eyes.
yeah, she can see
And
great
you kinda
distances.
get that sense of
which
that
is kinda-
because when she's introduced, her pupils
Their
are
crosshairs, yeah.
You don't like that quirk? Think
No,
it's
it's
silly.
It's not. It's fine. It makes sense that something that kind of mediocre would exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other people are chucking fireballs, but she can
She
see
can
across
see.
the room.
And
Yeah.
people taking their
Or she
eyeballs
can
out
see
or something.
across
Yeah,
town.
that's just gross.
And I think if she really tried, she could see like a kilometer. Or
Well, she
something.
does look up into like the
stands.
The
yeah,
press box.
yeah.
Who else did we have? So
Todoroki versus Zero, which ended almost.
immediately he
yeah,
froze
just
Zero in
blasts
the.
him,
I mean,
Yeah.
Zero tried his best. He wrapped him around. He started swinging him, but he's like, yeah, no.
And
But
it
it-
just makes this giant ass iceberg.
he's like frozen solid. But that's when he holds up his left hand and puts it on there and thaws him out.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry.
Yeah.
I was emotional.
I was a little pissed.
Something.
Because we haven't. I don't know how much we've seen inside his head, but we've seen him and Endeavor exchange like
Oh, yeah.
barbs, but not like details.
At this point, we know
Endeavor's an asshole.
because Todoroki has talked to Deku. He's been
Yeah.
like, "This is what happened to me. I don't know what's up with you."
Wasn't
but-
that after the end of the first round though?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So-
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Because that's why because he was pissed because he used his fire in the.
So it's in
No.
there's a Shoto Todoroki origin episode. That's later
Yeah,
on, like it's specifically.
But that's between the first round of the fight and the second round because it's
yeah,
Deku and
we don't
Yeah,
we
they
don't
have
see
a-
it happen, but he's like he explains like, yeah, that my mom poured boiling water on my face.
yeah,
That did happen.
well,
because she's
it's because she's
psychologically scarred because this wealthy family put pressure on her parents to sell her to Endeavor.
Yeah.
It's essentially rape. Like
And
over
then-
a long period of years, where she produced
Then
many
she forces.
offspring.
Yeah, he
'Cause-
forces her to birth all these kids until he can get the perfect
So,
offspring.
specimen.
so this high level of coercion, she's not only forced to live with, but she has to see it
I
daily
think- okay.
with Endeavor and in her children.
Let me ask you guys this, because I kind of took it away as like an accident. She's when it shows the flashback of it happen. She's on the phone with her
with
mom.
her mom, and she's
talking
like,
about how I can't like look at him
because he looks more like Endeavor
every day, and then
and he's got that tuft of red in his hair.
He comes up behind her and he's like, "Mommy," and she just turns around and like hits him with the.
but she like screamed, like she's
yeah,
doing
her
the-
eyes are
Was it
bugged
not-
out.
Yeah,
her
she's
eyes look
freaking.
crazy.
But so it wasn't an accident.
was
like
not
it
an
was.
accident.
It was not an
She
accident.
went
It
and
wa-
took the boiling water and just
She was I would say she was temporarily insane. Like, it's not like she sat down, thought it out, and decided this would be the right course of
It
action.
was an act of It was.
Yeah,
an
she
act
was
of
just like,
passion.
you
It
know,
wasn't
she had the big buggy water anime eyes going
Yeah.
on. She was freaking.
And they put her away after that.
Yeah, Endeavor did.
Yeah.
And he said it's because she
He
hurt
used
you,
He used his connections to get her certified insane.
Yeah.
which is not a big stretch.
Is there not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he used his connections to keep her there.
I'm kind of on the fence about Endeavor because the whole, you know, pressuring one family into arranged marriage thing, that is fucked up. I do not like that. But, I mean, that's the society they built. He's not completely outside the bounds of his own society. And he does obviously, and he cares about Todoroki as an extension of himself. He's still very narcissistic. He wants to be number one, even if that means by living vicariously through Todoroki like all these drunken football dads.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about him. He does seem to, he's not a purely evil character,
Right.
which is good.
Is it not within one of these episodes where we have the All Might Endeavor meetup as well
Yeah.
backstage?
I don't remember which episode.
I
But
think it's
that
the
does
same
happen.
one, like while Deku and
Because
Todoroki are
Deku
talking,
and
All
Endeavor-
Might is like, how's it
Oh,
going?
it is after this. Then it has
Yeah.
to be after this because, or somewhere because Deku and Todoroki talk. Well,
Deku and
Endeavor sees Deku, and at first it looks like Deku might.
That's when he's going to go fight.
It looks like
Todoroki.
Deku might like be scared and like
Yeah.
go away, like be
but
scared
that's after
from
he
him.
talks to Todoroki.
That's
'Cause
after he talks to Todoroki.
before
right.
their fight, because we haven't. There's other fights in.
Yeah,
round
we're
one.
jumping around.
That's fine. But Todoroki asks him, like, "Are you All Might's illegitimate son?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what's
yeah,
the
yeah.
deal? Like, your quirk is a little All Mightish. Like, I'm picking up on this, and I see why he would, since that is the only reason he exists.
Right.
Was to pass on Endeavor's quirk.
But I do love that when Deku and Endeavor have this meetup, and it looks like Deku's gonna shy away and be a little scared. He ends up like,
Popping off.
Yeah, popping off and saying, you know, like he's not you.
Yeah.
Todoroki isn't you, and
I'm not All Might.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great scene. But anyway, so let's talk about some other of the a few of the other matches because we had because Tokoyami fought
Momo, and
he won.
yeah, because she was thinking too
He
much.
was. He moved too fast, and she's more of a methodical thinker.
He
She's
put her in a
not the-
defensive position, so she
Yeah.
conjures up a shield, and he just hits that shield and pushes her out of the arena like
Right.
a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, she's still thinking about what she can do,
Yeah.
and she doesn't notice she's out of bounds.
We had Mino, Mino and who'd y'all say? Aoyama.
Yeah, they fought.
They fought. I think she won, right?
She won.
Yeah.
uppercutted him.
She he kept her at a distance for as long as he could with his naval laser, but they know each other, like, so she knows
They were
that he
teammates
can't.
in the exercise.
Yeah.
And he can't.
So he can't
hold
sustain
it on
it,
for
yeah.
long. Yeah. But the best one, I think, Bakugo versus Uraraka.
Yeah.
Oh yes, by far.
This is obviously, which everybody's like, what? This is ridiculous. What a ridiculous matchup, you know? Like, what the fuck is she supposed to do against Bakugo? And she gives this dude a run for his money.
Yeah, I was
man.
gonna say not everybody. Bakugo took it seriously.
Well, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
Eraserhead's like,
yeah, because
you gotta understand, he's doing his
Oh,
best. He's
well,
giving
yeah,
you no
because
shit.
the crowd turns
yeah,
on
they're
Bakugo.
turning on Bakugo. Like, what? How could you do this to this girl? You know? And Eraserhead's like, you're all idiots.
He's like,
he calls
he's
all
like,
these pro
who's-
heroes out.
Because somebody shouts that out. It was like, what are you, a villain? And
Yeah.
Eraserhead's like, who said that? Was that a pro that said that? If you're a pro, you need to go home and
Give your
retire.
license up,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you don't
You're
know.
not understanding what's
yeah.
going on.
And I liked it too that Deku.
You fucking clown shoes, kid. Go home.
Deku goes to Uraraka to try to give her some advice.
Yeah.
And she says, I don't know. I want to do this on
That's
my own.
when she
you
has
know?
her moment of, introspection where she's like, that's
Step
why
out of
she's
Deku's
following
shadow.
Deku.
Yeah.
Deku,
She
yeah.
gets a little better right there.
No,
Yeah.
and
Just a
so
little.
this
She's
fight,
better there, yeah.
This fight is exactly what you'd expect. Bakugo just
rips it.
just blasting off immediately, just shooting.
with fast but fast, low-powered explosions,
Right, yeah,
keeping her
'cause he is-
distance.
he's smart.
because he is taking her seriously. If she
Right.
makes contact with him,
It's over.
It's done.
even if she can't hit him after she levitates him, I mean, we see what the explosions do when he weighs normal. If he weighs 0 gravity and
He's
fires one off, he blasts himself into the audience.
So her plan is to. Well,
what-
actually, it's plan.
It's plan
A.
B.
Yeah, plan
Plan A
B.
is touch.
Yeah.
Plan
Get
A
a
is
hand.
touch. Try to get as close as she can, and finally get to, touch him. But she's got a B plan in her mind too.
Which is slowly
is-
building above the.
He's
Yeah.
as every time he's blasting,
Because she's
this-
coming in low.
right. He's destroying the field, and
She's been
the whole
touching-
time she's touching this debris,
Yeah.
making it float above them.
And he can't really see that because of the smoke from all the
Right,
explosions.
and the fact that she's keeping him focused on the ground, and looking down close to her, and so she ends up finally revealing that. No,
because
this
that's
my
what she
plan B
falls
is
back to.
I have
because
to-
she can't get close enough.
right.
There are like a couple hundred,
There's like a metric.
a
ton
lot
of
of
Oh,
debris
yeah,
right
there's
there.
debris that like meteors, just like
Yeah, and so she sends them raining down. One blast, Bakugo destroys.
But it's
every,
it's his all. It's
Incinerates.
full
oh
blast.
yeah, it's
Like it hurts his hand.
yeah,
to do that.
and
Like, you fucking bitch.
and then I think she falls out. and
She
passes
passes
out,
out,
at that
which
point,
is a KO, which is a win for Bakugo.
And
And she wants to keep going, but her body
just
has
can't.
had enough
And that's
that
by
she-
to me this is
Did
by far
Cementos
the-
have to step in, or did she actually go unconscious?
No, they wanted.
she passed
they
out.
wanted him to step
Oh,
in.
right.
Everybody was calling for him to stop it, but and even I think he even says midnight. Like, should we
Yeah.
cut this out? But
She
um,
keeps it going.
and that to me is by far the best fight of the sports festival.
I would say, yeah, I would say so.
It's a close second.
It's
for
not
me.
the most.
Do
Like,
you still liked the final, or
Shoto
which one was your
versus
favorite?
Deku's second fight.
well, the reason I would pick this one over that is because Uraraka grew so
Oh, yeah.
much
Yeah.
more than Deku did. Obviously, Todoroki grew
Yeah.
quite a bit
It
himself,
was, that fight wasn't
But-
for Deku. That was for Totoro.
but Todoroki was already top of the pyramid. He just got topper of the pyramid.
Yeah.
He just grew.
She was just
When
sort of
she
He
a.
had to build another.
She was just
top
some
for
side
him.
tang who suddenly stepped up into the spotlight.
Okay, so let's talk about the Deku versus Todoroki. Then.
Yeah, so after
This
they've
is
had.
the one that culminates to where Cementos has to step in and build a barrier between them, and it still fucks Deku.
So yeah,
up.
this is after the conversation they've had, and he explains, that his father's a big dick, and that's why he doesn't use his left half. And Deku's like, "Well, you ain't trying. Like, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna beat me with all of it." And he's still holding him at bay. Deku's using finger after finger after finger multiple times. He's holding him at bay with
My
ice.
favorite part isn't it in this one where he has to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
his thumb and put it in
Oh.
his mouth and then do
Yeah.
the thing to because he can't
He's
use any of his
broken
other
those
fingers.
twice now.
It's so
like
good,
he's
man.
probably obliterated the bone inside of him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It
Like,
just shatters its dust.
But and
Deku
he's
does this to get Todoroki to move to the next level.
right. He probably could, if he had started with like a Detroit Smash just directly at him, he probably could have blown him away.
Yeah, but that's not what Deku
But
is.
he's a hero. Like he is a real
He
hero,
sees
so he's got to
somebody.
save
Yeah,
his opponent.
from himself.
Yeah.
It brings up multiple times because at one point,
Because
after
this-
all the ice blasts, Todoroki's slowing down. He's got frost all over him.
Oh right, because he's
And
not using his
he's
other
thinking,
side to warm
Deku's
up.
like, I could win this.
Yeah.
There's a
Right
good
he even
chance I could
he's
win.
calling him out. He's like, "Look at you, you're shivering."
Yeah.
You haven't
Like-
put one. You haven't done a little bit of damage to me at all.
All my damage is self-inflicted.
But and he pretty much says like it's your power.
Yeah.
Not his.
Yeah.
Use it. And at this point, he starts. And this is when Cementos and Midnight are like, we need to stop. the
Because
match."
they don't come at a
Yeah.
Which
They
race at
his
each
whole
other.
left side erupts in flames.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
no.
Endeavor gets wide eyed and he starts moving up to the front.
Like, oh,
Like-
yeah.
That's
like,
my boy.
yeah,
Shit.
he couldn't have been happier if he'd brought home a cheerleader. Like, he's just like, finally, my son has become a man.
Yeah, because like at this point, Todoroki's smiling. His like he's got ice on one side, fire on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
His potential is at maximum.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah.
They get ready to kick each other's ass.
And Cementos cuts the fight.
Yeah, throws up
He
several
He
barriers.
tries to.
They break through the barriers, but I think it slows it enough. that
Yeah.
it-
But they don't
doesn't
kill each
leave
other.
any
Yeah.
lasting damage.
And so it,
But the fight ends
when
up
we-
going to Todoroki.
yeah, because Deku's knocked out
knocked out into
of the ring. Yeah. And so it ends up being Bakugo versus Todoroki in the final of the sports festival.
But Todoroki, I
Still
guess,
doesn't use
hasn't
that fire.
completely come over his complex about his father. So when he's fighting Bakugo, he only uses ice again.
Yeah, he gets shy.
He
Because
starts to use his fire, and then it's like he thinks, and it's like he gets doubt, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
well, I mean, it's a big change.
yeah.
It's hard to. I don't know why the hell this came to mind, but it's kind of like coming out as gay. Like, you know, Deku brings it out in him just like he did in Bakugo, and you know, but he's not just gonna immediately go 100%. He's gonna have those moments of like, is this right? Like, is this the right thing to do? So Deku brought out the fire in him, and then, you know, when he gets up in that position again, he's like, well, you know, so many years of keeping this repressed inside of me.
Right.
You know, he goes back to just the ice.
And Bakugo hates it.
But
because he
there's
wins.
there's another round, right? Like,
No,
you-
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
We skipped over some of the other fights.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other fights,
Because you
they're
had
like-
the electric dude and the
Well, okay.
Ursula chick.
yeah, there was the grass-haired chick,
that was round
yeah.
one. That was the first round.
Kaminari.
uh,
Kaminari,
Kirishima and Tetsu.
Which that
They're-
ended up being a draw, and they had to have an arm wrestling.
They're similar. They have similar
Kirishima
quirks.
won.
Tetsu is steel. He can harden his body with steel. Kirishima just hardens his body. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know what hit, but
I think it's
they-
supposed to be rock or something.
it does seem more rock-like
Yeah.
because it's jagged and angular.
they fight. It comes to a draw. Midnight's just like, well, we'll just have an arm wrestling match. And so you see them arm wrestle, and Kirishima ends up winning.
And this sparks a beautiful friendship between Kirishima and Tetsu.
It kind of I can't remember their names. There's Armstrong, the strong arm alchemist, and then there's Edward's teacher's husband.
Yeah.
And like when they meet, they're flexing at each other. And
yeah.
then that's like when it zooms into their eyes, it's like they're in love. It's kind of reminds me of that.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
such a great scene.
they can't, you know, they're equals. They suddenly see each other
We're
as
both
equals.
strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but yeah, there was a few more fights, but it all led to that Bakugo Todoroki. Todoroki ends up losing.
And then Bakugo doesn't want the win.
No, he doesn't want the win
He's
because
livid.
yeah.
He's so pissed. They had to muzzle him.
Yeah.
that is crazy.
Midnight had to use her quirk to make
Yeah.
him pass out.
He's muzzled and shackled on the podium, and he's just
tried to break
thrashing.
out.
And then when All Might comes to give the medals out, he takes the muzzle off, and
Like, oh, this is too much.
and then
Yeah, well, and he says, "All Might." You know, if it doesn't matter if the world sees me as number one, I don't feel like I won.
right,
And then
Because-
he won't take the medal, and All Might
Yeah.
ends up
Just
sticking it in his
Yeah.
mouth.
Hooking it on his jaw.
But yeah, and that's the sports festival. This actually ran super long too, so I may actually cut this into
Oh, okay.
its own video.
But
That's fine.
We'll run the
yeah.
other as we'll try to pack the other two into one episode. But
that should be a lot easier because
We
this
should
is
talk
half
This was
the
a lot,
season.
yeah.
This is half it all.
Episode
This was 12
after
episodes.
like 13, because it's kind of like the transition.
Go ahead.
And there's
Go
a
ahead.
lot of character development.
This is the
in these
same
12
length of the
episodes.
first season.
yeah.
Because,
Oh yeah, it is.
This is the aftermath. They're in class, and Eraserhead's getting ready to talk to them about the internships and tells them, here's all the offers you got. But the point I wanted to bring up was, all this time, Bakugo's had that medal in his jaw the entire time.
He
It's
probably
true.
he probably slept with it. He's like, do I want this? No, I don't want this. Do I want this? No, I really don't want this.
But and sort of going into the like as a sort of a teaser for the next one.
Yeah.
Ida calls his brother at one point, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm on the job or whatever." And then like later on, his mom calls Ida, and he's like, "Yeah, I know I lost," because he thinks she's watching him on TV, and she's like, "I've got some bad news." Like,
Yeah.
Your brother has
Got
been
fucked up.
injured.
yeah.
In the alley.
And we see that it was from the hero killer stain.
The healer killer.
He
Hero
heals you, then kills you.
Hero Killer Stain. That's going to be the next.
He heals you, then kills you, then heals you, then kills you back. It's just a cycle.
That's our next. That's the next arc. So we'll cut it here. Thank you all for watching and listening. Stay tuned as we continue My Hero Season 2 with the Hero Killer Stain arc. We will see you guys next time.
Bonjour.
Plus, we got to do. Oh, that's what we're going to do next.
It's
yes,
not.
we're doing it next.
It's not gonna happen.
Plus
What are
Ultra.
we doing?